In today's video, I'm going to rank every 5-star character from worst to best. Since my last ranking video, we have gotten 2 new 5-star characters and I think it's time for an update. Don't forget to leave a like and hit subscribe, and let's hop into the video. A very unfortunate place for Sangonomiya Kokomi, coming in dead last on the list. Kokomi just doesn't have the best purpose to the team, and it also holds her back that she has a negative crit rate. This prevents her from being a damage dealer. Because of this, Kokomi must rely on elemental reaction and let her off-field support do the damage. Overall, she might only function as a healer, which she is not best at doing it. And her ultimate is pretty unreliable, as she must stay on the field for her to heal her teammate, which is not a good idea due to her negative crit rate. It is a better idea for you to just bring an actual DPS and heal with your burst healer instead. She's not really the worst character, but for what she can provide, I don't think she has the value of a 5-star. Coming up next on our list, we have Keqing. I gave her everything. I gave her all of my best artifacts and great team comps. She's just not up there. This is not entirely her fault. This is just due to the fact that Electro doesn't have the good elemental reaction to compensate her weakness. On top of that, she doesn't have a great scaling. She's going to need a lot of investment and a great team comp for her to deal ideal damage, but even then, that might just be her best reliable damage. At number 18, we have Qiqi. Qiqi as a healer is actually pretty good. She provides a great amount of healing for the team, but I put Qiqi down here because you literally filled one entire slot of party member just to put a healer. She doesn't really have other big purpose to the team other than healing. Because of this, it is always better to go with a character that has a better purpose while having a healing ability as a bonus, namely Bennett and Diona. Coming up next, we have Aloy. She is a very simple burst damage dealer with relatively small amount of energy required. Unfortunately, she does not have a constellation, which might hold her back a little. Either way, you need to keep in mind that this is a free character with a 5-star scaling. At number 16, we have Jean. I have the same reason as Qiqi for this. She filled one entire slot of party member just to put a healer. But she actually provides more than that. She is an animal character, which you can use to shred elemental resistance with the Verdes and Veneris set. You can also use your skill to your advantage to group enemies together if you don't have a crowd control character. She might be the best healer in the game because she just provides so much healing with the press of a button, but it is pretty hard to think about a scenario where you'll need that much healing. But overall, Jean is still a multi-purpose character that you can utilize if you don't have better characters. Next up, we got Albedo. This character works in various different team comps, especially Geo comps. Albedo provides free damage to the team constantly. Unfortunately, he is a Geo character, which makes him less valuable outside of Geo comp. He does fill a very important role on the Geo comp. At the current state, I'll rank him here, but I might rank him higher with the new upcoming sword on the next update. Next on our list is a 3-way tie between Klee, Diluc, and Yoimiya. Cause at the end of the day, they're just pyro DPS that can deal damage and not the best at doing it. And they also have their own weaknesses. But if I have to rank them individually, it'll be number 14 Klee, number 13 Diluc, then number 12 Yoimiya. Let's start off with Klee. You really need to understand about animation cancelling to work around her attack speed. On top of that, her main attack goes on a lobbing motion with a small AoE, so there's a good chance you'll miss a lot of your shots unless you're very close to it. She does deal more damage than Diluc, but personally I think it's not really worth all that effort to compensate her weakness for those damage. Next we got Diluc. He might not deal much damage, but he covers so much area that it is so easy for him to clear up a group of enemy with a single burst. After his burst, he infuses his attack with pyro that you can utilize elemental reaction with. Overall, a pretty basic character that can handle multiple targets very well. Next is Yoimiya. She shreds Magu Kenki like nobody else. She moves from one target to another very quickly with her high damage. She is very simple to play and deals significant damage. Unfortunately, that's all that she is really good at doing. And she does need a very good elemental reaction to hit those big numbers, and she really only relies on her skill as her ultimate is somewhat useless. It is always better to go with a Shimenawa set to buff her skill that costs a little bit of her energy that she doesn't even use. And another unfortunate thing that she really lacks AoE. Overall, I'd still put Klee, Diluc, and Yoimiya on a 3-way tie cause in the end, they're just a pyro DPS that can deal damage and has their own weaknesses. Before I continue, I also want to mention Arataki Itto, but I'm still not sure where to rank him yet. Based on the footage we saw on the livestream, I think he is a straight up Geo DPS, so he must have a good scaling on his attack, otherwise he's just gonna be another Noelle. Let me know where you'd rank Itto. Coming up next, we got the 11th Fatui Harbinger, Tartaglia. He is very famous of dealing massive damage with his ultimate. He fits a very great role as a DPS, especially against a big crowd of enemies. His Riptide effect really helps him splash to multiple enemies, and he also has a very fast attack speed. Not only does he function very well as a DPS, he also can be used to enable Hydro Reaction for your off-field support like Zhongli and Albedo. The only thing that is holding him back is gotta be the cooldown on his skill, which might render him somewhat useless for a while. Entering the top 10 here we have Mona. She is currently the only standard banner character that is worth pulling, as her role is still somewhat irreplaceable. Unless there's going to be a character that has the same purpose as her and does a better job, I think she'll stay as the best standard banner character for a while. This is because she can allow your DPS to deal higher damage on top of her dealing big damage herself. Her elemental skill works very well to allow Hydro Reaction for your DPS. She feeds very well with energy recharge, which allows her to constantly apply that damage amplifier to the enemy. Next we get the Vigilant Yaksha. Xiao deals 40k damage as his daily basis. His ultimate allows him to become far stronger than he is, and he also covers a lot of area with a single plunge attack. You can also use his jump to your advantage for dodging enemies' attack. Now, outside of his mask, he is pretty much an average DPS, which makes character like Sucrose very beneficial for Xiao to get those animal particles very quickly, and that will allow you to gain his ultimate more frequently. Next we get Kamisato Ayaka. Her sprint infuses her sword with cryo, which basically makes her almost 100% cryo damage dealer. You can use this to your advantage to do almost constant melt. Her ultimate also covers a lot of area and deal massive damage along with it. She fits a great role of being a very fast cryo DPS. At number 7 we have Raiden Shogun. I don't want to overrate this character too much. I think her ability aren't really important universally. Yes, she can deal massive damage with her ult, but I don't find her energy recharge capability very useful. With that out of the way, she is still a very strong character to begin with. Her ultimate deals massive damage on its first strike and deals big damage afterwards. She is a very good multi-purpose character. I think it's safe to say that she is currently the best electro character in the game, due to her massive damage scaling. Next up we got Eula. This character proves that she does not have to rely on pyro or cryo to deal those big numbers. She proves that physical character can also deal high damage. The scaling on her ultimate is ridiculous, and it also covers so much ground. She hits 400,000 like it's a normal thing. She is a physical DPS, which means the only reaction that she should care for is Superconduct, and it fits the fact that she is a cryo character. All you need to do is bring an electro character into the mix and she'll have a physical buff for a while. Next up we have Venti. It is now a fact that I must accept that Venti is no longer the best animal character in the game. Venti is getting old. I can't just rank him higher than this just because he's my favorite. That's not how it works. There are just so many new enemies that Venti can't pull with his ultimate, which really holds him back a little. You can still use your knowledge to bring the enemies towards Venti's ult anyways, but with the fact that enemies aren't pulled to the ultimate, they still have the ability to attack you. Either way, Venti is still an amazing character anyways. You have to keep in mind that his ultimate can pull some of the toughest enemies like the Fatui agent and Susan mages. At number 4 we have Hu Tao, what might be the best pyro DPS in the game currently. Reason why she is so good is not only does she deals a lot of damage herself, but it is also because she has so many ways of buffing her damage. For example, like keeping your HP below 50% for additional pyro damage. And with this knowledge, she gains so much value with the best polearm in the game, the Staff of Homa. She deals damage fast, and she does a very good AoE damage. Her ultimate heals her to compensate her weakness. With all this knowledge combined, it is not a surprise that Hu Tao claims the title as the best pyro DPS in the game. Landing on the top 3 we have Zhongli. Having Zhongli in the team just makes a lot of content in the game easier. This is because his shield is so indestructible and it lasts for a very long time, and it also has a relatively short cooldown for what it can provide. And these kind of shield really stops so much damage that you don't even need to worry about dodging anymore. With this, you're basically shielded almost 100% of the time, and that's only one of his best abilities. His ultimate also deals massive damage on a very large area, and it also stuns the enemies, which basically stops them from being a threat for a while. Overall, Zhongli is such a strong character that he is almost irreplaceable. If you don't have Zhongli yet, I recommend consider saving up for his rerun if it ever comes back. Very close to number 1, at number 2 we have the Wandering Samurai from Inazuma, Kaedehara Kazuha. This character might just be the best character of all time, cause he just serves so many important purposes to the team. He can buff elemental damage, he serves as a great crowd control, and he deals big damage himself. With all that combined to one character, it is no wonder that he fits in basically every team comp. He might not be able to buff geo damage or physical damage, but you still have to keep in mind that he also functions as a great crowd control that allows you to shred against multiple enemies very quickly. He has enough crowd control ability to compete against every animal character in the game, while also has the ability to buff elemental damage constantly. He himself also deals great damage while doing all of his support role. He basically also functions as a DPS as well. At number 1, of course, I chose Ganyu. Reason behind all this relies on her charge attack. She just deals massive damage all by herself, and with the help from other damage buffing character, her damage rises sky high. You need to keep in mind that all of the big damage that she deals comes only from her charge attack. Her charge attack also covers a lot of ground, which makes her playable regardless you have aiming skills or not. She fits a great role of being a support as well, but that is basically wasting her biggest potential. Overall, I think we can all agree that Ganyu is the best DPS in the game. You can argue that yes, her playstyle is pretty boring. Not for me though, I actually genuinely love and enjoy her playstyle. But whatever the playstyle is, she is still the best DPS character anyways, or at least in the current state. Now, you can argue if Kazuha and Zhongli is better because they fill a support role and that is more universal. I could agree to that. They're basically number 1 at their own role, Ganyu being number 1 best DPS and Kazuha being number 1 best support character. I chose Ganyu to be my number 1 because I'm more of a DPS guy and I prioritize DPS more than support, because that's basically where all my damage comes from anyways. Yes, I would still agree that support is universally better, so I let you be the judge. Who do you think is the best 5-star character? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to leave a like and hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and I'll see you in my next video where I'm going to do an updated list for the 4-star ranking. I'll see you later.